To every wrestler and man out there, you want to go out on conquest. You want to be a conqueror. You know what I mean? You want to go out there and put your hand around the throat of the business. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't get the opportunities to do that, or they don't push past the boundaries to go do it. To me, we want to conquer the market, whether it's Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, Corpus Christi, Chicago, Florida, Cali. I mean, you name the place. We want the footprint of the 8th day in every single place that you can think of.
How long was this ago? How long was it? April?
It's been a while.
Yeah,
It's been a while, and a lot of things have happened since then.
Yeah. Father Oday joins us here on the podcast. Yeah, because like the one thing that I noticed about you is you wear suits. It's the first time you were not wearing a suit. This is like the first time you've done that. But how does playing the part work into how you're doing things in the wrestling ring?
Playing the part, like wearing this fit.
Yeah, and like your tuxes and your suits to present yourself.
Well, I'm always a firm believer that it's really important to present yourself as best as possible, especially in a professional matter. That's, for you, like as an individual, where you want to go in life, what you want to do in life, what you want to strive for. You got to really, put your best foot forward. And it all starts on how you present yourself to people. And that goes to how you're dressed. You got to look professional, a lot of people speak about the airport test whenever you walk through an airport. Do you turn eyes? What makes you stand out? And to me, I'm not 7 feet tall. I'm not a giant. So I don't have that working for me. But every man can go ahead, get a nice tie, get a nice blazer, suit pants, put that on. And I promise you, if you put on a nice suit, you will turn eyes. Keep yourself trimmed, groomed. I mean, just looking professional. And that's just something that, people respect because it does take effort to do as well. It takes effort, and it's also you showing respect to other people.
Right.
So to me, I think it's, very important to do that and to prepare yourself for, the job and the work that you want to get to. So if you want to be on TV, you got to dress for that. You got to be ready for that. So like right now in this moment in time, while, I'm on the independent scene, I want to prepare myself as best as possible by, getting ready and, wearing the suits, wearing even a tracksuit with our logos on it and being as professional as possible, because that's what's important in this business.
Who instilled this manner of professionalism, whether it's in the wrestling ring or if you're going out to the real world, and who instilled those values in you to look the best that you can be in whatever position that you're in?
Honestly, so it kind of goes like from like being in school and as well as, in wrestling. So like in university, I went to college for business and business administration and marketing, and you had to dress up in a suit so like many times, and especially because I was a part of a student organization and board, and because of that, I was constantly going out and talking with different clients and students and whatnot. So you always have to constantly dress professionally in those situations, and especially if you're going out trying to interview for jobs and whatnot, you always gotta dress up for that. So a lot of that comes from that. And then in terms of wrestling, just seeing people and guys like John Cena and Cody Rhodes, always, no matter where they are, you'll always see them in a suit. in any type of setting. So just taking, inspiration from that. Uh, and yeah, to me, I feel like it's just an important thing to do, to take that extra step. Um, just to look your best, even if it's not in a suit. It doesn't have to be a suit. But to just look your best and to look as professional as possible with what you can work with. Um, I think it's just key. But yeah, just from university, and different people like John Cena, Cody Rhodes that are on TV that have been doing it for a while, are just different people that I've taken inspiration from.
It's interesting because while I was researching, you had, besides John Cena and Cody Rhodes, like you had Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson now. And
Yeah.
how much has that impacted you first as a fan and now wrestling in the ring? Because Daniel Bryan at the time's character is overcoming the odds to win, to put himself over. How much has Daniel Bryan's influence kind of shaped you into who you are as a person and as a wrestler?
Yeah. So to me, growing up as a kid, Daniel Bryan was a man that had to go against all odds, like literally overcome everything, to get to the top, get to the point, and get to where he wanted to be, that he knew he could be at. And he faced a lot of, adversity, through it all. And, now, it's given me a lot of inspiration, for that. Because, I mean, I see myself as a man that's, you know, facing a lot of adversity as well. And I've been persecuted as well for, my own faith, my own beliefs. Um, you know, just for being a man of faith, being a man who believes in the eighth day, just face my own challenges because of that, in this business. A lot of people don't believe in what we're doing, don't, you know, believe in us. They dislike what we're doing. And so I relate like a lot to what Daniel Bryan was going through all those years ago. And so just seeing what he's been through and how he's been able to overcome it has taught me a lot. Especially, in this point of my life, especially as I'm coming into my own as a man. So it's it's something that I, always have in the back of my head. And I can always think back to how I felt as a kid watching him on
Mm.
TV, doing his thing, overcoming the odds, and putting that in my work and life today. Because there's a lot of people out there that are terrible people.
Mm.
People that just come back from your past and, you know, try to destroy your lives. And I know I can overcome that stuff.
To be a wrestler now, and you didn't start off in New Texas. That's where you're currently at,
Yeah.
and having your brief stint of being in reality of wrestling, and
Mhm.
what was the first exposure to being there? And it's a long, it's for just training for that amount of time. What
Yeah.
was it like being the fan to now being the trainee as a wrestler?
Yeah. So I started at reality wrestling training in summer 2019. Um I believe we discussed this last time I was on here as well. Um but yeah, started with them. Was training for a couple of years and had a few matches with them as well, and it was really cool. Just to be there and you know uh, getting the opportunity to you know learn and train with different people. Uh, Getting to be in the ring with different guys like Rudy Garza and Shapey Harlow, and just learning from them and working with them. It's always look back to that and appreciate that time, and for just giving me my footing into this business. That's one of those things, like we don't all start the same in this
Mm.
business. We all come from very different paths. And so to me, I'm grateful that I was able to have that path because it's led me to all of this. Uh, so just to go from, you know, being a trainee over at Reality Wrestling to now training at New Texas, and also, wrestling here, and also just around Texas in general, having the, you know, opportunity to go out to Chicago, to Florida, and now to Cali. Um, it's been an awesome ride so far, and I don't regret anything. I honestly, super grateful for all my time, in every regard within wrestling.
Between, because you were sidelined between a span of time
Yeah.
leading up to New Texas, and um, throughout that time, with what you went through leading up to it, what was the lessons that you learned, being sidelined from reality to switching over to New Texas? What were some of those lessons that made you appreciate what you're doing as a wrestler?
Yeah. So I unfortunately, so I had a match and got hurt. It was all, on me, on myself. Um Nothing crazy, nothing serious. But I was out for some time. I think it was a little over a year um
Hmm.
that I was out for. And throughout that whole time, I just learned a lot about myself as a person. And I was able to, use that struggle and the hardship to drive me even more, to push myself even more. And I knew that if I didn't quit, if I didn't stop, that I could overcome anything. That if I can overcome this suffering of that time period whenever I was out, nothing can stop me. That I'm unstoppable. Because that was, some of the worst times in my life, darkest moments of my life. And that's actually the time frame of whenever I started, finding that faith within myself. And, that's whenever I found the eighth day, found the light, and really started to believe in myself. Hey, I can actually turn things around. Like, this doesn't have to be the end. I know a lot of times, especially whenever wrestlers get injured, get hurt, especially for a period of time for that long, um, to them, it's like the end of the world. That's how it feels like. You're not doing anything. You're out. Especially for someone like who just got started and now you're out. It just feels like the end of the world. But to me, I was um, able to find the mental strength
Okay.
within myself to keep pushing and hopefully find the light at the end of the tunnel. It was actually a lot of times, um, every day I'll keep telling myself just one more step, like in my head, and to just because I also like I couldn't really walk ish, um, but I just keep telling myself like one more step, just one more step, like one more day. If I could just get through one more day, you know, everything will be all right. And I just kept telling myself that every single day, like every moment, until I was able to get back in the ring. Um, and yeah, I was able, I was just given the opportunity after, I found myself and found the eighth day, and, the light shined down upon me. I was just given the opportunity to go ahead and, spread the message at New Texas Pro, and they let me go out there, talk to the idiots in the crowd, and I was trying to change their lives. I think I tried my best. Not a lot of people, want to listen to what I had to say because they're pigs. But you know, there's only so much that a man can do.
How much is Kiefer and with JJ and with Bulldog? Um, how did the Eighth Days message kind of amplify with their support? And as you're starting to get into New Texas, how did they really um, contribute to how the Eighth Day is starting to grow
Yeah.
within your ranks in Texas wrestling?
Well, I want to throw one more name into that.
Okay.
Dan Miller, um, who does commentary on New Texas and as well as just production, um, and just he's also a part of the committee, helping to put the shows together with Kiefer. And without Dan, Kiefer, JJ, Bulldog, none of this would be happening, like, at all.
Right.
It would not be a thing. I would not have been given the opportunity to be number 17 on a list of,
Mm.
you know, top 100 wrestlers in Texas. I would not be given the opportunity to go out of state. Um, like, it just would not be a thing. Dan, it all started with Dan. I had this self uh, realization in myself, and I found myself. And once I felt the message come to me, and I really just wanted to talk about it and spread it and tell others about it. Like, hey, you can believe in yourself. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Dan was so gracious to work with me on bringing that realization to life. Me and him went down to, I believe, Herman Park in Houston, and we
Mm.
filmed that first video, and we made a whole advertisement, and put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook, Twitter, put it out there. Dan made the logo for me. So he did all that, helped me out. This whole thing would not have been, literally won't be a thing without Dan. Um, that's whenever Kiefer saw the advertisement video, and he was like, hey, this is something that, that could work. I think these heathens over here need something good in their lives. So
Right.
he was like, let's try to make their lives better, and give them something. And so he gave us the platform to go ahead and speak, to the audience and speak to the people, and to really do something and, build something. And JJ and Bulldog were just instrumental with, helping us fine tune our training
Okay.
in the ring as well. JJ he is the unsung hero. He works with us day and night um, on our in-ring work, and to make sure that, we're as best prepared for the opportunities to come. And a lot of times he doesn't get the credit for that. But, he's the one that helped to bring us, Dream Team, even that bum dragon, Dustin, um, to Florida. He took us on his own dime, took us over there twice, um, took us to Chicago on his own dime. Not a lot of people would do that. Like Kiefer and JJ did that for us.
Mm.
And you don't get a lot of trainers and schools that would literally do that for you on their own dime and take you to different places and opportunities and other schools and other promotions to get you out there, just to get eyes on you, just to help you to get more reps. So without Bulldog, JJ, Kiefer, and Dan and their guidance and the platform that they've given us, all the work, this has been like a 3 years worth of work.
Mm.
We wouldn't be here without any of them. Like, we're just now seeing the rewards of all that work. And man, I'm thankful for every single one of them for that.
One thing that I notice is how eloquent you speak, because that's it's a rarity to have such a speechcraft in what you're doing, and it goes back to more research, having that time in debate club in high school. Like, everything starts somewhere. How has your time learning to communicate through debate, how did that start really shaping into who you are first as a person, then we'll talk about later how it
Yeah.
became a wrestler?
So, it's interesting that you brought that up. Um, when I was a kid, obviously I was too young to step into the ring. Um, you know, I wasn't gonna walk all the way to Texas City from Richmond. That's not happening.
Right.
I'm just a boy. So that was not gonna happen.
Okay.
Um, instead, I devised a plan. My plan was to go do amateur wrestling and then go do debate so that I can try to get
That's
aspects
a
of
weird
wrestling.
schedule.
Yes. I was like, this is my plan, and I'm gonna go do this so I can prepare myself. Um, so debate was cool. I didn't do it that long because, um, you know, I don't know. I liked wrestling more,
Oh,
amateur
okay.
wrestling more, and it was taking up more time. And it's kind of hard to do both at the same time because they're both like conflict with each other. Just time schedules and all that. But the time period that I was doing debate was really cool. It taught me a lot about um, just one professionalism, and then
Mm,
also like how to carry yourself in a conversation and when you're
okay.
speaking. Um, you know, and not just that, but researching the points that you want to make. Um, like sitting down and learning how to research for the argument that you want to make and how to win that argument.
Right.
Um, so to me, that's just a natural thing that leads into wrestling. Um, because I'm right. I'm always right. But people don't always see it like that. And they need facts,
Right.
which is cool. It's great. I have sources. I have receipts. I can pull that up and bring it out to you. So debate really taught me that whenever you're there competing against your opponent and in front of judges, you got to go ahead and have your cases, have your facts, the laws, and all that boring stuff ready. It taught me a lot that hey, people want to hear the truth. People want to hear facts. They want to hear the truth. I think that's what I do best. I think I tell people
Mm,
the truth. Even now in wrestling, I tell people the truth. I tell them the facts. Um, it just sucks because people don't like hearing that stuff. But yeah, debates prepared me a lot for wrestling.
how has your communication really shaped over time? And of course, in wrestling, presentation is
Yeah.
everything, and that includes having the promo work. And we're gonna go back to Dan with Dan Miller. Like,
Mhm.
how much has he been helping you improve to carry that truth? And it will take some time. Of course, truth will always seep out in the darkness at times. How has Dan Miller really shaped your not only like your promo work, but how you convey to the audience at large whenever you're at a show?
Dan Miller is absolutely great at
Okay.
everything he does. And I want him to see this. And you can tag him. Dan Miller is absolutely great at everything he does. Um, he has watched wrestling since he was a young boy. He knows all the old like school wrestling stuff, all the old school characters and promos and whatever. Um, and he knows how to bring that out and to show that on camera.
Mm,
Um, and he he's a man that's really helped me convey my messages out to the people. Just helping me in front of the camera, behind the camera, teaching me a lot of those different aspects that you wouldn't normally get. He's a very creative guy. Uh, and to be in this business, to work in this business, you need to be a creative person and be around creative people.
right.
Uh, and I also believe a lot of things that worked in the past worked for a reason, and you shouldn't stray away from it. And there's a reason why those people who did those stuff and marketed themselves in a certain way were big stars. And I feel like in this business today, a lot of people are, walking away and straying away from the old school stuff that was done. And Dan was a person who's really studied and watched those materials for a long time. So he was anything that I haven't seen, I haven't watched, he would tell me about it. He would let me know about it. Um, and he would share it with me. And it's not even just the wrestling stuff, because I also I look outside of wrestling for creativity. Whether it's movies, TVs, you got to just be engulfed into entertainment in general. And I think it's just such an important aspect. A lot of times wrestlers nowadays, they just look at the in-ring stuff, which is cool, but they don't watch or see any of the outside stuff. What makes that person great? You know, what makes peak angle great? You know, what makes certain people amazing? And it's the outside elements. It's what you bring into that ring. What you bring to yourself as a personality. Um, and I've been able to really hone that through Dan by working with Dan and learning from him. So Dan, I really do appreciate you. Thank you for everything.
And we'll go back to the eighth day. And with this current iteration, of course, there were changes, and that's something that every faction faces. With the current iteration, with Timor and with Guardian. Is it Guardian? Is that right?
Yeah, it's the
Okay,
Guardian.
gotcha. With this current iteration now, and through all the changes that the eighth day has gone through, winning titles left and right as a tag team, and now um, we're in this new phase within this new year. How has that brotherhood now kind of held you together during that span of time?
Oh, well, it's a whole different game now. We're on a whole different level. I mean, we're now, the three of us as a unit, Timor the Great, the Guardian, Father Oday, a walking blessing. I mean, nothing like it. We're untouchable. Who on the independent scene do you see that's a solidified team, solidified trio, solidified faction? Do you see that anywhere? No. They're not like us. They're not like us. Ever since we let go of Roger, ever since we let go of that traitor, I don't want to say his name. Um, Ever since we dropped the dead weight, I think we were stronger than ever. We started off where it was me, Timor, Roger, and that traitor's name, and then we brought in the Guardian. It was five of us. Then we brought it back down to three. And ever since then, we've been unstoppable. We have been so intertwined with each other. We know exactly what the other person is thinking. We live and breathe the eighth day because that's what we are. We are the eighth day. The Guardian is the powerhouse protector. Timor the Great is the wrath. And Father Oday is a walking blessing. And nothing can take that away from us. Nothing can stop
Mm-hmm.
us. We're men of faith. That's who we are.
And to have tag championships all over Texas, how has that hard work been such a payoff with what you're doing? And to be at United, to be in the New Texas main roster, how much of that hard work has finally come to pay off, not only as a faction but you personally,
Yeah.
with these championships?
I think to every wrestler and man out there, you want to go out on conquest. You want to be a
Mm,
conqueror. You know what I mean? You want to go out there and put your hand around the throat of the business.
mm.
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't get the opportunities to do that. Or they don't push past the boundaries to go do that. To me, We want to conquer the market, the business, whether it's Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, Corpus Christi, Chicago, Florida, Cali. I mean, you name the place. We want the footprint of the eighth day in every single place that you can think of. So to me, it means a lot whenever we go into these different places
Mm.
and different promotions, especially if it's an outside promotion that's, not New Texas Pro, and going out there and winning different championships, different tag team gold. Especially whenever it comes to tag team gold. Tag team wrestling is such a special thing. A lot of times it doesn't even get the credit that it deserves. And so to go ahead and win tag team gold in different places, or championships in different places, I mean, to me personally, that means a lot.
Mm.
Uh, it means that the work is working. That the work is working. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
I do.
Okay.
I'm actively listening, so I'm getting all the information as I can too. So especially with what you guys are doing, that's what kind of resonate me the most is winning all those belts in multiple cities in Texas.
Yeah.
That's really what sets apart with a lot of the factions that I'm seeing here in the Texas wrestling scene. I may miss some. That's probably someone's gonna call out on the comments, but stranger things can happen in that
You
time.
can just always delete the comments. It's okay.
Fair enough. to shift to winning the Contender Series title,
Yeah.
and how has that dynamic changed from tag team championships to a single? Of course, besides you winning the putting yourself over to get that title, how has that dynamic changed from being in the tag division to winning championships in the singles division?
So being in the tag team game versus being a singles wrestler is a whole different ball game. It's a whole different vibe. Um, when we debuted, me and Timor, on our first night, we won tag team gold. We won the New Texas Tag Team titles.
Mm.
And for 2 years after that, um, or about a year and a half, we've been so prominent in the tag team scene for New Texas Pro. And so just to make that shift and to challenge yourself to be a singles wrestler and guy was just something that I really had to take upon myself. Because in a tag team, you have your partner there to depend on, to help you out in situations, to be there for you. It's 50-50. But in a singles match, a lot of times it's just you to carry the match.
Right.
It's you to be there, and you can't rely on your partner to just be there where you can tag out if you need help. If you need a fresh breath of air, you can just tag out. No, you're in there, and it's just you. It's you and the opponent, and so it's a whole different ballgame because all eyes are on you constantly, and
Right.
it's your job to perform at your greatest level. Not saying that you're not doing that in a tag team match. You just don't have the other person there with you. So it's a whole different challenge. And to be able to be given the chance to do that, was something that, I take in real high regards, to be given that opportunity. I hold the Texas Contender Series Championship so near and dear to my heart. It means everything to me. It means the world to me. I was given the chance to lead and be the face of that whole brand and to
It's in.
carry it.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not done. I'm not
go for
done.
it. Go
You
for
thought
it.
I was
I was
done?
waiting for the pause. Go for it.
To be given that opportunity to carry the brand and to hold the title on my shoulders. And, we run on a bi-weekly basis for Texas Contender Series. So the fans are actually seeing us more often than even the main New Texas shows. and they're seeing, all these young guys and gals coming up and busting, their butts off to go ahead and, you know, showcase why they belong, not just on New Texas, not just in Texas itself, but on the whole scene, why they deserve a shot to be the best. So to be able to get that championship as a man, to be able to carry it on my shoulders, and to fight off any individual that tries to get it from you, um, it means the world. And I truly appreciate the time that I had with it.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And moving southwest with TWC,
Yeah.
tell us your journey leading up to Born to Hustle. And you started off at Ring Crew. Tell us your story. How did that lead up to you being in the show?
So I always enjoyed seeing Texas Wrestling Cartel. Always wanted to go out to the shows. Unfortunately, a lot of times we're booked, me and Timor, to different promotions that were running the same day, especially with United. Um, you know, United, Lions Pride, any of the different promotions, were just running at the same time. So a lot of times we weren't able to like make it out. Um, but I believe it was 2 or 3 months ago, I was able to, make it out to one of the shows, and just to be able to watch and help out, help out with the ring and all that, help to, tear it down afterwards, and help with the ropes and all that fancy stuff. Um, and, you know, it was just a good time to be there to watch, uh, all the wrestlers in the ring do their thing. And, for, Haley to, is that a sneeze?
Cough.
That was
Yeah,
disgusting.
that's
You
why I had to mute
sick?
myself.
Are you sick?
I was very
Are
thirsty.
you sick and you're
Nope.
video calling me right now?
To be fair,
I'm gonna
I
wipe
was
my
very
screen.
thirsty there. Let's
I'm gonna
continue.
wipe my screen. It's disgusting.
Fine, fine.
I'm
But go
disgusted.
on.
I just want to thank Haley for being very hospitable to us, and you know, just giving us the chance to help out as well, help them out at the show and whatnot. I really appreciate them for that. Um, the show after there was a opening, and I had a little snippet at Lions Pride with Pac, an altercation, and from there, I believe Haley saw it, and she, they had an opening for the show, opening spot, and they were interested in bringing us in, and using that, using us for that, and um, so we were privileged and had the opportunity to go down there and you know perform on their show, and that was something I truly truly appreciated. So that's not something that they had to do, um, you know, especially with all these big stars on there and whatnot. It's not something that they really needed to do. So truly appreciated them for that opportunity and for allowing us to come onto the show. Because quite frankly, it doesn't happen like that for a lot of guys. You know, um, it just doesn't. It's a lot of hard work to go on a show like that.
Mm.
It's a lot of hard work. So I'm super appreciative that, they gave us that opportunity to come in and do that. So, looking forward, hopefully we can do more shows there. Um, uh, Always looking forward to, performing in other cities other than Houston as well.
Okay. We're gonna go back to you as a wrestler, and these names will sound familiar.
Mhm.
Mustafa Ali, Sami Zayn, Mansoor, um, being in the Middle East, and how much of your Jordanian heritage really means to you as you really understand the ins and outs of what wrestling can be, being a person of Jordanian heritage.
Yeah. So my family is actually from Jordan and Palestine.
Okay.
Um, my grandfather and grandmother and my grandmother from my dad's side, all three of them were actually from Palestine. Um, and then, exiled to Jordan. And my grandfather on my dad's side is from Jordan. But being from, the Middle East, and my family being from the Middle East, I was born here in Houston. But, having my heritage and my culture, you know, and being from a family of immigrants, you know, um, it's taught me a lot about perseverance and also showcasing yourself and being proud of who you are and your heritage and, your culture. My dad and mom, the parents of a walk and blessing, they didn't have a lot, when they first came here. Um,
Mm,
they could barely afford bread. My father would have to negotiate with a gas station worker and,
wow.
pay him later on for just a loaf of bread. And to just see him, you know, hustle and bring himself up where he owns his own business now and is pretty successful. After 20 years of hard work, um, you know, just has taught me a lot, to see them and, um, other family and extended family still showcase their culture and persevere, even if they um, moved over here, still to present themselves and present, um, you know, the love that they have for their homeland has taught me a lot as well, to keep what makes you and your people so special alive. Uh, you know, a lot of times I feel like it's kind of forgotten sometimes where you're from and who your people are. And it gets put aside and pushed aside. And I feel like it's so important to show our differences. A lot of times people want to be the same. But what's fun about being the same? It's the uniqueness in each other and the differences in each other that makes it fun. That makes it fun to live together and to be living on this world, um, alive and breathing together, you know. So I'm really, really proud to be Palestinian and Jordanian. And, just seeing different guys, the guys that you mentioned, Mustafa Ali, Sami Zayn, and
Mansoor.
Mansour, carry their heritage and to be proud of it, to showcase it, um, and to speak out about it, has taught me a lot as well, about not hiding away from your culture and hiding away
Mm,
from yourself. Um, you know, so even different stuff like, I'm not sure if like you've noticed, but like Sami Zayn having, his name in Arabic on back of his tights. That's something that I
mm,
noticed all the way back in 2013 when he was in NXT. And that's something that like I do because I know there might be uh, a boy out there that's Middle Eastern that most of the fans that don't won't even know that's a name in Arabic. But I know that there's a boy out there who's Middle Eastern that can read my name in Arabic and they'll feel special and unique because you don't see a lot of Arab wrestlers out here in the independent scene. It's just, you don't. Um, so to me, I feel like it's a responsibility to carry onto yourself and on your shoulders. And it's not just for you, but it's for your people. It's for the kid out there that, maybe one day, 10 years from now, might be inspired to take the same footsteps that you took. So it's very important to me.
how much do you think, um, if that one fan does approach you and they are Middle Eastern and they say you're just like me, how much of that has, how much will that um, impact you, knowing that you're doing your best in the Indies, you're spreading the message of the eighth day. When someone approaches you, whether it's a kid or a fan, how much will that mean to you when they do say, "I'm like you"? You know what I mean?
Well, I would tell them, hold on now. There's a long while. There's a lot of steps you got to do before you're just like me. Okay, so I'll tell them first, calm down. All right, you don't just get to be a walking blessing.
Right.
Okay, you got to earn that. Um, but I'll look at them after telling them that and say, hey, you got all the skills needed. You got all the skills needed, and it's not impossible. You can do it if you set your mind to do it. And, you know, that's something, I know I would have appreciated if I was, able to get the chance to speak with someone um, like that I looked up to. And, you know, just to be able to tell them that, hey, there is a chance out there for you to make it. You can make it. You can be whatever you want to be. Maybe not a walking blessing, but in your own right,
Mm.
you can be the best. You can. And just keep carrying the culture. Keep the culture alive. Keep it alive and breathing. That's what I'll tell
Okay. Let's shift that to you, and we'll end this conversation with this.
them. Mm-hmm.
If you met the debate club amateur wrestling hustling to Texas City you in high school, if you were in the same room with him, what would you like to talk to him about?
Well, I'll tell him that, hey, I just want you to know that in about 10 years, your back is going to hurt, have a broken hand. Um, you're not going to be able to really move because your body hurts. And you're gonna live the best damn life that you could have ever imagined.
Okay. It's short and sweet. I like that. And honestly, Ode, and we've had so much interactions over the last year, and I do appreciate um, a lot with what you're doing and the changes that happen within that year. That's where I noticed a lot of changes for the better. And I want to say thanks. No, seriously. And we had this conversation back in April, but ever since we had these side conversations in a lot of these wrestling shows, and knowing how you're doing in the ring, and now we're in this new year, keep it up. And it's not it's everyone's journey takes a different path, but just keep going. And to be honest, I really appreciate having this conversation with you. And I apologize for the cough. I am very, very dehydrated. It just comes out of nowhere. So you never know.
It's all right. I mean, I'm gonna go wipe off my screen when this call ends.
Fine.
But I appreciate you. Thank you so much for bringing me back on. This is one of the premier podcasts that you could be on. You are so well spoken and so great at carrying a conversation. Terrible at just randomly coughing
Uh,
and being sick on camera.
I am. I will check my temperature after this recording. I will
You
get back to you.
should.
Yeah, I
You
probably should.
should. That was kind of disgusting. Um, but thank you, and I appreciate you for inviting me on. Anytime you'd like to have me on, I'd be more than happy to be on. Uh, anytime I see you, I wouldn't say it puts a smile on my face. Um, I'm not upset. let me put it that way.
Okay.
It doesn't make me
I'll take
upset when
anything. I will take anything at this point.
yeah, it doesn't make me upset when I see you, which I can't
Okay.
say that for a lot of people. So thank you so much. You're a good man. Always love talking to you. So
Awesome.
anytime
And
you need me back on, I'm here.
yes, sir. And I have nothing left to give at this point. You have the floor. And where can we find you? And the eighth day.
You could find the eighth day on Instagram at believe the eighth day. You can find us on Twitter at _ the eighth day. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Father Oday. You can also call our prayer line. It's still active. It's still working. Actually, don't remember the phone number.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
You could always call that number. I don't know if someone will pick up, to be honest. But if you keep calling and you keep trying, someone might. So, yeah, that's where you can find me at. Reach out to me at, to keep up with all the show schedules that we got coming up. That's where you can find that stuff at. If you're a pig, if you're a bum, please stay away from me. I don't want you. I don't want to see you. Go away. Don't even follow me. Disregard the whatever profile acts that I just said. Okay? Disregard that because I don't want you. Okay.
And on that note, thank you so much for listening and watching. And we're on to the next one. Bye, guys.
Thank you.